Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show, here with you until the top of the hour over the airwaves of ESPN Radio, Sirius XM Channel 80. Number to call up as always is 866-729-3776. That's 866-729-ESPN. Looking at the Steelers giving up 302 yards per game this season, ranking 22nd in the NFL. Damn it, that damn defense. Once again, it's the problem. Boy, do I long for the days of the steel curtain. Damn it. But I digress. Congratulations to the New York Yankees making it to the postseason. Should have extended those same congratulations. Those same congratulations to the New York Yankees. I'm sorry, to the Los Angeles Dodgers a few days ago. We know they're handling their business. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Can't complain at all. Having said that, let me move on to some other issues. Number one, Carmelo Anthony gets traded from the New York Knicks. As I reported yesterday, Phil Jackson sabotaged everything, ladies and gentlemen. This is not about Steve Mills, not about Scott Perry. This is about Phil Jackson talking about Carmelo Anthony like trash. And ultimately, it'd be in a situation where the Cleveland Cavaliers wouldn't even return their calls. Portland wasn't an option for Melo. L.A. with CP3 going from the Clippers wasn't an option. Houston, the Knicks weren't going to take the 3 years and $60 million remaining on Ryan Anderson's contract. So as a result, you're stuck. Well, OKC ain't a bad place to be stuck at from a basketball perspective. Let me tell you something about the combination of Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and Paul George. All of them are dogs. I mean, rough riders. I mean, it's a compliment coming from me. These brothers ain't scared of anybody. And they can ball. And consider this, ladies and gentlemen. Carmelo Anthony, a career 24.7 point per game scorer who was the number one option in New York. Can't do it by himself. He's a scorer. He's not the player LeBron James is, but he is far from a scrub. Carmelo Anthony is your third offensive option. If y'all don't know, you better ask somebody. This is the number one threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, I would say Cleveland overall. Because what you got to take into consideration is the fact that Cleveland, you got to look at it this way. They have LeBron James, but Isaiah Thomas has to be healthy. We don't know what those hips are going to be like. We really, really don't know. So that's somewhat problematic. We got to take that into consideration. The other thing is that if you're Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and all of those boys, even though you're the better team and you're the prohibitive favorite, and you should be, well-deserved, the flip side to all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Who wants Golden State more than Oklahoma City? You got Carmelo Anthony, who's never played in an NBA Finals. The same could be said for Paul George. Paul George is looking for a new contract. Melo's always looking for more money. And Russell Westbrook on the verge of signing a 5-year, $217 million extension that's been on the table for him for the last couple of months. They're trying to convince him to do it as we speak. Here's the deal. Who wants Kevin Durant and Steph Curry more than that dude? I love Sam Presti and Oklahoma City finally going for it. Shouldn't have come to this. Should have kept Serge Ibaka. Should have kept James Harden. Probably wouldn't have lost Kevin Durant. Should have kept all of them in tow. You really, really should have. But that didn't happen. And now it's going to come down to Durant and Golden State likely going against them. You can say San Antonio can never summarily dismiss them. I'm not buying Houston. I think the biggest loser in all of this is CP3. Love the brother, love his leadership. Love the role he plays beyond the sport, or rather beyond the playing court, because he's president of the Players Union. He's doing good things. One hell of a player. But when he left, even though he left in part because he didn't want to play for Doc Rivers anymore, I didn't see anybody crying about the fact that he was gone. which I'm shocked by because I would have been crying if he left me, if I was a player on that team, because he made all of them better as far as I'm concerned. But as great as he is, what do you have if you're Houston? You got a coach in D'Antoni who really knows how to coach offense. You got a superstar in James Harden who still has to make amends for that Game 6 performance in the Western Conference semifinals. But he's a superstar, and I love him. Got to tell y'all, CP3, age 32, approaching the last year of your contract, but turning down $200+ million? Now, he might try to deny it. I don't know, but I'm telling you what I was told by Clippers officials. They were prepared to offer him 5 years in excess of $200 million to keep him. Ballmer, the owner, okayed it. Chris Paul turned it down, told him he was going to Houston. And then afterwards came into town a few weeks later to have dinner with Ballmer, but didn't meet with Doc Rivers. Bad look for Chris Paul, bad look for Doc Rivers. And Blake Griffin sitting there smiling because he got $175 million. I can't knock him. I'd have smiled too. Because even though the numbers say he deserves it, his availability and his significance in big-time situations, I'm not sure warrants that contract. But there you have it. And as an aside, let me take a moment to applaud LeBron James again, who appeared more presidential yesterday than our president in his conversations about President Trump. Kyrie Irving, entirely different matter. In a span of 1 minute, he called Kyrie Irving a kid 4 times. It ain't that hard to figure out why Kyrie Irving wanted out, y'all. It ain't that hard. Doesn't mean LeBron James a bad guy. Doesn't mean he's a crook or criminal. Doesn't mean any of that. It just means that being a leader, sometimes you could handle things better. And that wasn't always the case with him. There's no crime. Plenty of leaders made mistakes along the way. Let's just not act like he didn't make any. Because he did. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Chris in L.A., you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
Hey, Stephen A., good morning. Real quick, I want to touch on the OKC and what you brought up as far as, yes, I know I spoke with you yesterday. I didn't have much time. But you know why I believe this is just a perfect fit for Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo? I'm going to give you an example, Stephen A. You remember that game when OKC went to Golden State and Zaza Pachulia knocked down Russell Westbrook and he was holding his face? You remember that game?
Yep.
That team, obviously, nobody came to Russell Westbrook's defense on that play took. And that's not a knock against Oladipo and Robertson and Sabonis, all those guys.
That's absolutely true. Nobody came to his defense. I remember that. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So with that being said, on this team with Carmelo, Paul George, Raymond Felton, and those Rough Riders like you just mentioned, that does not happen on this team.
That is correct.
That is it. And that's just my personal opinion.
That is correct.
So let me jump to I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said that's absolutely correct. Go ahead. Get to the other point.
Yes, sir. The D Wade deal going to Cleveland. Yeah. Do you believe that uplifts them and gives them a better shot, even with Isaiah not being 100%? Because I don't believe it does.
I think it does. I think it does. I think they clearly come out of the East with or without D Wade, but with D Wade, definitely. First of all, D Wade shows up in big games. He doesn't wilt beneath the pressure at any time. He's cool under pressure. Secondly, you're going to see a significantly happier LeBron James. When I tell you LeBron James loves this brother, he loves this brother. He owes D Wade a lot. I don't think people realize that. LeBron coming to Miami did an awful lot for D Wade. D Wade benefited from LeBron James, the basketball player. LeBron James benefited from D Wade, the man. D Wade, in concert with Pat Riley, not only taught LeBron how to win, they gave him the foundation for it because LeBron knew what being a member of a family as a team, what it required. and what came along with it. You got to remember, LeBron James was very, very reluctant to be a leader. LeBron James was very reluctant to take the proverbial bull by the horn and just say, this is my time. LeBron James also was a guy that didn't know how to do those things and wasn't afforded the luxury of patience because from the time he arrived in Cleveland, he was the chosen one. And D. Wade shielded him from all that. Remember, Chris, their first year, they never did a press conference without each other. Remember that? Remember that, Chris?
I do.
They did. Yes, Bosh would be by himself half the time. See, D. Wade and LeBron James were always together because LeBron needed D. Wade there because he was a pariah for leaving Cleveland. And it was D. Wade who shielded him from all of that. People don't realize how deep this goes, man. He loves this brother, and D. Wade loves him back. That's a big, big deal when you're trying to capture a fourth championship. When you got a big brother like D. Wade, who's going to ride and die with you, who, by the way, can still ball when called upon to do so. D. Wade had a down year and is in the downside of his career, still averaging 18, 19 a game. We'll remind all of y'all of that. Gotta go, Chris. Appreciate the call. More of your calls in a minute. We'll stick around continuing on these subjects. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Go to Albert. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Albert? How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Stephen A?
All right, go ahead, buddy.
First, I want to say, as a disclaimer, I'm a retired military veteran of 23 years, 70% disabled. And I just wanted to say that, everybody in our armed forces is not monolithic. While we're all patriots, we're not all monolithic. And
well, first of all, I appreciate your service to our country and wishing you nothing but God's grace and beyond. Thank you so much. Not that there is anything beyond God's grace, but you know what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to say, just for me, and I'll speak for me, I don't have a problem with anybody protesting the flag by kneeling. And I don't take that as an insult to me as a service member to our country. As long as it's done peacefully and nonviolently, as a matter of fact, it's an insult to me for what I fought for and what I believe in to not allow people to do that.
Okay, we got your point. I understand.
Yes,
keep going.
And I also wanted to say that as far as President Trump is concerned, the thing that bothers me about his stance on it is that we had our number one adversary, Russia, interfere with our democracy by interfering with our elections, which is ultimately an act of war, and which is the most disrespect to our nation and to our flag and to our country. And he has said nothing about that. And I think more attention needs to be paid to that than anything.
Okay. I appreciate your call, man. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for your service to our nation. Socrates in Brooklyn, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call, Stephen A. Smith. I want to make a comment. What do you think about the fact that white people cherish their Second Amendment rights to protest violently against the government in case the government ever comes for their guns? We see a case where they actually pointed guns at federal agents. So what do you think about that? Do you see a hypocrisy where white Americans feel that they have the right to violently protest against the government for any little problem?
I don't think any group has the right to violently protest.
Yes, but do you see a hypocrisy there?
What do you mean? What do you mean the hypocrisy?
Well, because a lot of people who have a problem with Kaepernick kneeling peacefully, those same people would argue with you that they have a right. Here's where it's not hypocritical.
Here's where it's not hypocritical. There are white people who have no problem with Kaepernick protesting because it's peaceful. And there are white people who were out there. There was a young lady who lost her life because she was out there protesting the white nationalists that were protesting in Charlottesville, Virginia. She was a white woman, and she was a victim. And she was out there on behalf of minorities and others that the white nationalists were speaking against, whether it's blacks, it's Jews, or anybody else. And so we can't say hypocrisy on the part of a segment of our populace when there's a segment of our populace who disagrees with those white nationalists, those white supremacists and others. And they're not even minorities. And they still stand with minorities in opposition to the white nationalists. So how can it be hypocritical?
It's not all of them. I never made the statement that all of them. I said, if you ask many of these same white people, what do they feel about the Second Amendment, right? And they will tell you that they have the right. These same people that have an issue with Kaepernick peacefully protesting, they will tell you that they have a right. You know why they cherish the Second Amendment so much? You know it's not to hunt animals. You know it's about protesting the government. So that's the point I'm making. The second point I want to make is the Confederacy. A lot of these people celebrate the Confederacy and their monuments. And that's the Confederates, what they did, they committed treason against the country. I just want to point that out, and I want you to understand. I wanted to see what you feel about that. And the second point I want to make.
You just made 2 or 3 points, but go ahead. You can make another one.
Yeah. All right. Ken on your show.
Who?
Will Kane.
Okay, Will Kane. Go ahead.
Yes. All right. Now, he kept saying somehow he was trying to make it seem like systemic racism does not exist. That's the impression I got from watching your show today. But I wanted to point this out. There are a lot of studies that have shown that white Americans with criminal records are more likely to be hired than black Americans without criminal records. And there are a lot of studies.
Well, I gotta look that up. I don't know that. I'm not going to let you stay over the airwaves expressing that because we don't know whether that's factually correct or not. But I will look into it, and I appreciate your call, man. Thanks so much. Let's go to Kurt Lowe in Houston. I thought you were hiding for a little while, my brother. It's nice to hear from you. What's going on?
What's going on,
What's
man?
going on, bro?
Everybody in New York, what's up?
All right, what's going on, man? Talk to me.
Hey, first of all, I want to say before I get into OKC, love your brothers and sisters. Stop falling for these bait wars of race wars that they setting for you. Whether you white, black, Spanish, yellow, love one another because you don't make it to heaven being racist.
Amen. Go ahead.
I wanted to say with the OKC. You know, I've been watching this all 2 days. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be a disaster. Can you imagine Russell Westbrook and Melo on the same team? You're talking about 2 guys that can't shoot and 2 guys that
You're funny. Hold on, Kurt Lowe. Hold on, Kurt Lowe. Kurt Lowe, watch your manners. This is my show. You listen and you listen good, sir. Are you telling me that Melo can't shoot? Is that what you're saying?
Can't shoot, neither can Russell Westbrook.
You're hilarious. So Russell Westbrook just averaged 31, 10, and 10 on better than 45% shooting. Melo's a career near 25-point per game shooter and scorer, and neither of them can shoot. Let me ask you this question. Is this your way, Kurt Lowe, telling me that you believe Houston's going to be better than OKC?
I can't believe you can compare the two. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Answer the damn question, Kurt Lowe. You're saying to me that you think Houston's going to be better than OKC?
Absolutely.
Kurt Lowe, you done got yourself in trouble. Kurt Lowe, you know what? There's a few restaurants, because I'm fond of the city of Houston. There's a few restaurants going on in Houston. At the end of this regular season, you treat me to dinner, bro. When you lose this bet, you treat me to dinner, bro. I'm telling you right now. I'm calling you on the carpet right now. You're telling me you think Houston is going to be better than OKC. I ain't even say the Raiders. I promise you that won't happen. I promise you that won't happen.
Think it twice.
Okay. Listen, let me tell y'all something right now. I promise you this. You want me to go a step further? I bet you if OKC met Houston in the playoffs, they'd beat them.
That could be interesting. I might agree with you on that.
You might agree. You might agree with that. Oh, yeah, really? So that's where we go. Well, listen, during the regular season, D'Antoni don't make them practice, so they put all their efforts in the game. So you might have us there because Billy Donovan might make them practice a little bit harder, make them put in a little bit more work. Whereas D'Antoni, it's like a damn vacation until the game comes. So you might have a point.
Control Russell Westbrook last year. How you gonna control Melo and Westbrook on the same damn team?
Let me tell you something. Kurt Lowe, there's so much to teach you about the game of basketball, but it's all right. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here all year to teach you the basketball lessons that you clearly need. Because if you think for 1 second that Russell Westbrook and Carmelo together with Paul George is a liability, you really need basketball lessons 101. You truly do, because you're clueless. You're absolutely clueless on this, Kurt Lowe. But I love you for it.
I love you for it. They say they're not going to pass to each other.
All right, I'm here. Kurt Lowe, ain't nobody hiding. You know the number. Nobody hiding. I'll be right here. And anytime you feel the need to apologize and acknowledge that you were wrong and misinformed, I will be here to accept it gracefully. Have a nice day.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it.
In certain parts of this country, General Hospital comes on at 2 p.m. Some other parts, 3 p.m. Out west, it's 2 p.m. local time, etc. In Connecticut, in the midst of my scene, President Trump came on and preempted General Hospital while I was on the scene. I'm not happy about that, but I will not engage in petulance. No, sir. No, ma'am. Not I. 866-729-ESPN. It's 866-729-3776. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to Mike in L.A. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, Stephen A? How you doing?
I'm all right. Talk to me.
With Seattle's recent struggles and the way Goff's been balling in L.A., am I crazy to think that the Rams could steal the division from Seattle?
Say what? That the Rams could steal a division from Seattle?
Yeah, am I
no,
crazy
you're not.
to think that?
I don't believe it, but I will say that Goff was impressive. Was impressive without question against San Francisco, and I got to give credit where credit is due in that regard. I don't like what I'm seeing from Seattle's defense right now. Or the offense was anemic as far as I'm concerned, but their defense giving up damn near 200 yards rushing to Tennessee, that's not good. That's not good at all. I was not happy to see that one bit. So I will confess that, no question.
The deal looks like it's aging. And is it still possible that they're still mad from 2 years ago and not giving the ball to Beast Mode? You think they're still mad over that? Because I don't think they haven't gone over that.
I got you. Listen, here's the deal. The Rams have some potential. I mean, Gurley can ball. And having Watkins as one as your wideout certainly doesn't help. And Woods is no scrub either. So I've been very impressed. But I was really impressed with Goff. I never expected him to look like that. Now, it was against San Francisco. But I still was impressed. It is an NFL team, and I still was impressed. I have to confess that much. I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. Mike in Denver, talk to me, bro. How you doing?
How you doing, man? Good to hear from you. I was watching you this morning on First Take, and I ain't seen you this happy since last basketball season. You really geared up for Oklahoma City, huh?
Oh, yeah, listen, I just believe the combination of Melo, Westbrook, and Paul George is lethal. It's no joke. It's absolutely, positively no joke. I firmly believe that, but we shall see. But don't tell me. They got a lot of heart, man. They ain't scared, and they can ball. That's where I'm at with it.
It's going to be real interesting. I mean, I like that, too. You know, it's just going to – the thing I'm going to look for is the cohesiveness. See how long it take them to get together or will they get together. You know, before you get too late, you know, too deep down in the year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be real interesting, man. You know, so I just wanted to touch on that, man. You know, I'm on my way to class, but, you know, I always like listening to you, man.
I got you.
You call on another day, man.
Always appreciate you, right? Mike. Thanks a lot, big boy. Talk to you later. Conrad in L.A., you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me. What's up? Conrad, are you there? Okay, let's go to Dan in Kansas. You're live with Stephen A. What's going on, Dan? How are you?
Hey, how you doing? Are you surprised that the Knicks waited as long as they did to let Melo go? And he's supposed to be on today. I thought it was tomorrow. I think Trump made a bad decision to come on today on General Hospital and interrupt your scene.
It's all right. I'm in several scenes, so I'll get over it in regards to that. I'll get over it in regards to that. In terms of the Knicks waiting too long, here's the deal. The reality is clear. The Knicks tried to wait to see if they could get a good offer because they weren't getting any good offers because Phil Jackson devalued Melo. And as a result, they were never able to get over that, so they're stuck with what they have. That's what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate it. Carlos in Atlanta, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Yes, how you doing, Mr. Stephen A?
I'm all right. Go ahead.
I got a question. Do you think if OKC does have a good year or make it to the Western Conference Finals or maybe the Finals, how could they resign?
No. Get your mouth back to the phone. We can't hear you. Go ahead. One more chance.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay. If OKC does have a good year, Mr. Stephen A., and make it to the Western Conference Finals or maybe the Finals, how could they sign all three of those guys the year after?
Man, I can't understand you. I gave you another chance. I can't understand the damn word you're saying, Craig. Carlos, sorry. Let's go to Craig in Atlanta. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Craig?
Hey, how's it going, Stephen A?
I'm all right. Go ahead.
I just had a couple quick points I wanted to point out, and then I'll listen to you offline. My first point is I don't understand where the narrative comes from that every veteran is offended by these guys taking a knee. I'm a black disabled veteran myself. I'm not offended at all. My second point is USA Today published a study June of this year that showed that minorities are twice as likely to face discipline in the military, our branches, and get a dishonorable discharge, and also minorities are also less likely to get promoted to a higher ranking in the military. Now, this is the same thing that Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee for: inequality and justice. My last point before I let you go.
You know what bothers me about your message to me right now? Let me tell you what bothers me. It bothers me that y'all acting like y'all don't know what's happening. Stop sitting there and dissecting. You know good and damn well people don't. Their issue is not this. It is not this man protesting. It's why he's protesting. Because ultimately, if you notice, everybody wants us focused on the issue of kneeling for the national anthem. They know better. They know that he wasn't disrespecting, our servicemen and women serving in the military. They know that. The fact is that he was bringing attention to racial inequality, police brutality, and things of that ilk. And to acknowledge that and to admit it means you have to have a discussion about it. And who the hell wants to talk about it if you're the one victimizing folks of it? Or you're the one benefiting from the victimization of the minority communities in this country? Who wants to talk about it? That's the issue. So when you call up here talking about, they did, this is not what he's saying. I have a problem with people. Come on, stop it. That's a distraction. It's just like the president. We all know he don't give a damn about this issue. What he's doing is getting back at the NFL because they wouldn't let him in their good old boys club. And so you got something to get at him at where you can build a consensus and a coalition against them. So be it. It works for you. It builds your base. It supports what they stand for. It might get you more votes when you need it to count. And on top of it all, you're getting back at them. We all know that. Why are we acting like we don't know?
Right. And this is, Stephen, my last point. I heard a caller calling yesterday talking about how he supports Trump and Trump is doing a good job and he doesn't agree with all of his policies. My thing is this. If my president can't sleep at night because guys are taking a knee at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., I can't sleep at night because I can't get a VA appointment for 3 to 6 months to be seen for my disability from the military. So his priorities are way out of whack. Instead of being up worried about these guys taking a knee, how about the guys who you say we're offending? How about you take better care of us when we do come back from overseas to actually get us the medical coverage that we do need? Thanks for taking my call, Stephen.
Gotcha. Appreciate the call. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Your calls to close out the show in a minute. It's Stephen A., ESPN Radio.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! I have too much time, so everybody's got to make their points quick. We're right back here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. My boy Champ is on the line. I know he's got something to say about this Melo trade. Talk to me, Champ, real quick, buddy. Go ahead.
I'll be real quick. I'm side of the NBA, we can actually say it's finally back. The competition level is where it needs to be. And my question to you is this. Everybody's been calling Carmelo Anthony a ball-stopping player. But if you go back in time, the Cavs and the Nuggets were 17-65, and then comes LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony was robbed of the Rookie of the Year. And then back in 2009, when they both had teams, they both made it to the conference finals. This is the first time since Carmelo been in the NBA that he actually has a team to win a championship. So when you look at Russell,
well, you could say that, but he's not the favorites. Golden State is an A, and B, to me, it's somewhat similar, not entirely, but somewhat similar to Denver when he had Chauncey and he had JR and he had Kenyon Martin and those boys, but they just weren't good enough to beat Kobe and Shaq. Now, Golden State ain't Kobe and Shaq. We understand that, but they are a juggernaut. I don't think OKC's the favorite, but I do think they're the top threat to Golden State right now.
But I want to say this too, that forget the favorite. When you were growing up and I was growing up, it wasn't about being the favorite. If you have enough to win, the great ones find a way to win if you're really great. OKC it's real tricky because guess what? Russell Westbrook would defend Stephen Curry. Paul George would check Kevin Durant. The kicker is this. They have to play both sides of the court this time around. What LeBron James brings to the table that Carmelo has that's a lot better is he actually can score inside the basket. That's going to force Kevin Durant to play defense down the stretch. I like OKC to come out the West to beat the Golden State Warriors because one thing about Golden State that nobody has talked about, they've had home court advantage throughout the playoffs the last 3 years. We still don't know how tough this team is if they do not have home court advantage. And with this West being loaded, anything can happen. An injury here or there, where if Durant missed 20 games this year, they may not have the best record. What if Game 7 is in OKC and not in Oracle?
I got you. Appreciate the call, champ. I got your point. I'm going to think about that. Let's holler about that later. Let's go to Darren in Indiana. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, Darren?
Hey, not much, Stephen A. How you doing?
I'm good. Talk to me.
Hey, wanted to talk to you about a couple things. First, I wanted to just say, I think the other day you were talking about how petty Trump is, and I totally agree with you. I don't know why we are fueling his fire instead of ignoring him. He has a lot more things to worry about. I'll just mention three. One is our health care bill. It's failing. Puerto Rico, they're in dire need of, our assistance. And there's the very possible, nuclear threat that's hovering above the whole world. Why doesn't he quit acting
before you go any further, let me allow you to listen to our president talking just a few minutes ago when he was asked a very, very similar question about all the things going on in the world, particularly in Puerto Rico, and how still he can go from that to what exactly he's talking about with the NFL and beyond. Listen to President Trump explain himself.
Well, I wasn't preoccupied with the NFL. I was ashamed of what was taking place because to me that was a very important moment. I don't think you can disrespect our country, our flag, our national anthem. To me, the NFL situation is a very important situation. I've heard that before about was I preoccupied. Not at all. Not at all. I have plenty of time on my hands. All I do is work. And to be honest with you, that's an important function of working. It's called respect for our country. Many people have died. Many, many people. Many people are so horribly injured. I was at Walter Reed Hospital recently, and I saw so many great young people. And they're missing legs and they're missing arms and they've been so badly injured. And they were fighting for our country. They were fighting for our flag. They were fighting for our national anthem. And for people to disrespect that by kneeling during the playing of our national anthem, I think is disgraceful. So I will also say that, again, I read you part of his quote, but the governor of Puerto Rico is so thankful for the great job that we're doing. We did a great job in Texas, a great job in Florida, a great job in Louisiana. We hit little pieces of Georgia and Alabama. And frankly, we're doing, and it's the most difficult job because it's on the island. It's on an island in the middle of the ocean. It's out in the ocean. You can't just drive your trucks there from other states. And the governor said we are doing a great job. In fact, he thanked me specifically for FEMA and all of the first responders in Puerto Rico. And we're also mentioning with that the U.S. Virgin Islands. It was devastated. So we are totally focused on that. But at the same time, it doesn't take me long to put out a wrong, and maybe we'll get it right. I think it's a very important thing for the NFL to not allow people to kneel during the playing of our national anthem, to respect our country and to respect our flag.
Well, the one thing that I will say in that soliloquy that the president just articulated is that my family's from the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas Virgin Islands, and obviously everybody there is safe, thank the good Lord, but they were ravaged, no question about it. I've made my donations. I'm sure many, many others have. I want to give a special thanks to Tim Duncan, former star for the San Antonio Spurs, future Hall of Famer, who's a native of St. Croix, where I also have family members, for the attention that he was bringing to the plight that exists there due to the hurricane. So definitely agree with the president about that. But to say you have a bunch of time on your hands, really? President of the United States, you got a bunch of time on your hands, huh? Really? Okay. Eric in D.C., you're live with Stephen A. Real quick. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Stephen A., how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. You only got a couple of minutes. Go ahead, man.
Oh, okay. Hey, I just wanted to say, before I heard those comments from the president, I myself, I'm a wounded vet, and honestly, in the beginning, I actually supported Kaepernick, but Stephen A., let me put it to you this way: when he started wearing the shirts of Che Guevara and Fidel Castro,
inexcusable.
Two of the most
inexcusable.
It is. It's inexcusable, and so to me, you see the dichotomy, and you try to support something, you try to do things the right way. But people have to educate themselves, man. And I listen to you all the time, Stephen A. I don't agree with everything you say, but that's what this country's about, man. I can still respect you for who you are, where you've come from, what you've done, and to be a voice for people that I don't, I can't put myself in the shoes of a black man. I can't do it, but what I can do is offer my support, offer my, sincere, hey, what can I do to help? But the way it's so divisive right now, people like myself, we get drowned out because I get put into a category because automatically I'm a white guy from the South.
Let me interrupt you because we got to go. You're not being put into that box. Just because you're a white guy and you might happen to be a Republican or whatever the case may be. Hell, there's a bunch of black conservatives. Don't be fooled by it. Even those who vote Democrat, sometimes they got a lot of conservative blood in them. So nobody's judging you accordingly. You got to judge the president for his behavior. That's the issue. Don't let anybody deviate from that. I'll talk to y'all in 22 hours. Peace and love.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.